International Society for Krishna Consciousness. The lawyer who was registering the company, he suggested that Krishna people don't understand. The International Society for Krishna Consciousness people don't understand. Rather, you call this institution as the International Society for God Consciousness. Srila Prabhupada's response was, no. I have come here to make people understand that Krishna is God. People speak about God, but they do not have any understanding. Hare Krishna, what's happening? So, really was testing the recording.
Like
Oh, it's live. Okay. So Prabhupada's statement was, I have come here to make people understand who God is. And Krishna is God. Now, is Krishna a Hindu God? Is Krishna a sectarian God? Or God is one without a second? What will be your take on that? Are there many gods? Or there is one God? How many of you are for one God? Yes. The definition of God that Prabhupada has given is the supreme personality. So the supreme, how many supreme can be there? Can there be many supreme? What is the definition of supreme? One who has no equal or superior. So he is one without a second. Now I'll go further into this, what Prabhupada was trying to present through his teachings. Once some Catholic priests came to see Srila Prabhupada in New York, and they asked Prabhupada, why are you converting these Christian boys and girls into Hindu? Srila Prabhupada's response was, no, I am not converting the Christians into Hindus or Muslims into Jews. I am simply making better Christians out of Christians, better Hindus out of Hindus, better Muslims out of Muslims, and better Jews out of Jews. What did Prabhupada mean? People are following their so-called religion without proper understanding. Hindus, Muslims, Christians, Jews, they all are actually worshipping the same God, same personality. But they are not recognized. The names may be different due to the language, due to the cultural or geographical consideration. But the identity of the personality is the supreme, and he is one with us. If it's a matter of supreme, like we can see that all these religions are in essence monotheistic religion. That means they believe in one God. And that's, so if they all are believing in one God, then what's the difference? What's the difference? Only the difference is in name. The same personality is being identified as Allah or Jehovah or God the Father or God. Only the difference is in language. But the indication is the same. One without the second Supreme Personality. That's why Prabhupada's point was that irrespective of what background or what religious conviction they come from, but they all are actually pursuing the same goal. And that is what Prabhupada was reminding. And that is how he enlightened everyone, and as a result of that, the intelligent class of people from all over the world are responding. Today, actually recently, Narendra Modi appreciated the activities of ISKCON. He mentioned that ISKCON is one organization that is promoting the Hindu culture all over the world. And here Hindu culture actually means the wisdom of the Vedas. The wisdom of the spiritual reality which is beyond our sense perception. The knowledge that we acquire from through our senses is the knowledge of this world. The world that we can see, that we can feel, that we can touch, that we can smell. But these informations are of another reality which is beyond our sense perception. Therefore, in Sanskrit, it is called Adhokshaja. Akshaja means born of the senses, product of the senses. Aksha means the senses, and Ja means produced or born. Now, these information about the spiritual world is beyond our sense perception. So, how can we get the knowledge about something that is beyond our sense perception? The only way that knowledge comes from that world. And at the beginning of the creation, the Supreme Personality of Godhead had given the knowledge to the first created being, Lord Brahma. Brahma is the first person in this universe. And when this universe was created, the Lord had given that knowledge to Brahma. And that is called Vedas. Tene Brahmarida Adikavaye Muhanti Jatsura. So, this knowledge, Brahmarida, you see, this knowledge cannot be perceived by our eyes and ears and nose and tongue. This knowledge is revealed in the heart. That's why it has been pointed out. Rida means in the heart of Lord Brahma. Tene, he had imparted, he had given this knowledge. And then Brahma actually distributed this knowledge. This knowledge again flows in two different branches, predominantly, mainly. One branch is the Upanishad and the other branch is the Puran. In the Upanishad branch, the essence of all the Upanishads or the essential information of the knowledge is Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, Gita is called Gita Upanishad. Gita falls in the category of Upanishads. And in the stream of Puran, the knowledge is, and the essence is Srimad Bhagavatam. So these are the two important sources which have been summarized this knowledge. The Vedas are actually vast. Bhurini, Bhuri Karmani, Shotamani. Vast, Vedas are huge, Vedas are vast. Now, unless and until one has a total understanding, one cannot actually ascertain what is the essential teachings of the Vedas. But by the mercy of the Lord, Krishna himself had given the essence of the Upanishads in the form of Bhagavad Gita. The definition of Bhagavad Gita or in Gita Mahatma, this has been pointed out as Sarva Upanishadu Gaho. Sarva Upanishadu Gaho. All the Upanishads have been compared to a cow. Dogdha Gopala Nandana. And that cow was milked by cowherd boy Gopalananda Krishna. Vatsa Partha, the cow gives the milk for the sake of the calf. So who is the calf here? Arjun is the calf. For whose sake Krishna has got this milk that cow. And Dugdham Gitam. And yeah, before that, Sudhi Partha. People with advanced intelligence, developed intelligence, drink that milk. And that milk is nectarian instruction of Bhagavad. Dugdham Gitam Mitam. So this is how we are seeing that how Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all the Upanishads. And in the Purana stream we see a similar kind of analysis. Nigama Kalpatarur Galitam Phalam. Vedas, Nigama, has been compared to a Kalpataru, Kalpavriksha. Kalpavriksha is a desire tree. Desire tree can fulfill all desires. There is a tree, or there are trees in the spiritual world that actually fulfill the desires. Anybody can ask something. Okay. So, Nigama Kalpatarur, of that Vedic desire tree, Galitam Phalam, the ripened fruit. Nigama Kalpatarur, Galitam Phalam. And that ripened fruit of the desired tree has been blended with the nectar from the lips of Sukadeva Swami. Suka Mukhan Amrita Drava Samrita. So now you see that these Vedas have been compared to a desire tree that can fulfill all desires. Now can you imagine what is the fruit of that tree is like? And that fruit is a ripened fruit. Galitam Phalam. And then it has been blended, Suka Mukhad Amrita Dravasam. Blended with the nectar from the lips of Sukadeva Goswami, because he narrated that. So that's how it has become even more relishing. So the point is, if we want to find the essence of the Vedas, then we can take shelter of these two sources. One source is Bhagavad Gita and the other source is Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, Srila Prabhupada actually imparted the knowledge that he has given in the form of principally these two scriptures, Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. And so, now what is the essential teachings of these two scriptures? Let us first go into the Bhagavad Gita aspect. Well, I mean, I'll just, take just for my clarity, How many of you have read Bhagavad Gita? Please. Or how many of you are reading Bhagavad Gita? In Bhagavad Gita, the setting of the Bhagavad Gita is the battle of Kurukshetra. In the battlefield of Kurukshetra, they are ready to fight, two sides, Kaurava side and the Pandava side. They are actually cousins, coming from the same line, same family. They are cousins. Their parents are brothers. And they have assembled there to fight. Now seeing that he'll have to fight, which means he'll have to kill all his relatives, his guru, his grandfather, his friends, his cousins. Arjuna is overwhelmed with emotion. He says, Krishna. And at that time, Krishna actually gave this information to Bhagavad Gita. The first thing that Krishna establishes in Bhagavad Gita, because Arjuna is saying, I have to kill my relatives. I can't do that. And Krishna is actually pointing out that there is no death of the soul. Soul simply transmigrates from one body to another. Now one may question why Krishna is provoking Arjuna to kill people. But here, that's why we need to know the background of Bhagavad Gita. When you read Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata, what do we find? Every single effort was made to avoid this battle. All the elders of the family, Bhishma, Kripacharya, Vidura, Gandhari, they all tried to convince Duryodhana, don't fight. Give them their kingdom. Is a justified claim. You have deceived them, you have cheated them, made them taken the kingdom away, and then finally it was settled that for 13 years they will go out, for 12 years they will go into exile, and on 13th year they will remain incognito, and if anyone recognizes any one of them, then this condition will repeat. Another 12 years and 1 year. Now those 13 years period is over. They have come back. Now they have their justified claim for this thing. So give it back. Duryodhana was adamant. No, I won't. We'll fight. Let's see. If they want it, let them win the kingdom. Finally, Krishna himself went with a proposal. Okay, Duryodhana, you don't have to give them half their kingdom, their kingdom. Just give them 5 villages to 5 brothers. And what was Duryodhana's response? I'm sure all of you know. That I'm not going to give the size of the land, the size of the tip of a needle without a battle. Without a battle, I'm not going to give them land size of the tip of the needle. Haribol, maybe you can stop. It's distracting. So this is how we can see that every single effort was made to avoid this battle. But Duryodhana was adamant. Therefore, they have been forced to come to this battlefield to fight. And now Arjuna is saying, no, I'm not going to fight. Now for a warrior, that is the worst disgrace. If he comes to the battlefield and retreats, people will think that he's a coward. So that's why Krishna actually convinced Arjuna, no, he won't fight. And in order to provoke him to fight, he is giving this knowledge. the first thing that Krishna pointed out, that Arjuna, you are saying that you are going to kill your relatives and friends and so on. But the actual identity of an individual is not the body. His identity is the soul. The soul cannot be killed. Body can be killed. But the killing of the body is not, death of the body is not the end of the existence of the individual. On the other hand, if instead of an old body, somebody gets a new body, it's a better deal. Like if instead of an old car, you get a new car, isn't it a better proposal? So even if they have to die, it doesn't matter, because they themselves have opted for this. So what can you do? They have decided to come and fight. So fight. And in that fight, either you will die or they will die. And that's the condition. So why worry about it? So Krishna first establishes that point, that our real identity is not the body, but the soul. And he gives the understanding. He's pointing out that in spite of the change of the body, the identity of a person doesn't change. A 5-year-old body is a little child's body. A 15-year body is different from that 5-year-old body. 25-year-old body, 35-year-old body, the body keeps on changing. But in spite of the change, the person doesn't change. So who is that person? The body or someone else? Obviously, not the body, but someone else. And who is that someone else? That someone else is the soul. And then he pointed out, soul is never born, soul never dies. It is the body that is born and the body dies. When the soul accepts a new body, we call it birth. When the soul gives up the old body, we call it death. The birth of the body, death of the body. And as long as the soul remains in the body, that is the life. So this body is like a dress. Just as we put on a dress, the soul has put on a body. And when the body becomes Jīnāni Vāshaṁ Jatha Vihaya, just as when the dress becomes old, one gives up the old dress and puts on a new one. Similarly, when the body becomes old, one discards that old body and puts on a new body. Tatha sharirani vihaya jīnāni annāni samyāni. So in this way, Krishna very systematically imparts this knowledge about the spiritual identity of us. And then he points out that we all are spiritual beings and we came from another world. There are two worlds, material world and spiritual. This material world is a world of matter and the spiritual world is world of the spiritual being. And what is the nature of the spiritual being? Satchidananda. Sat, eternal. Chit, full of consciousness. Anand, full of joy. That in that world, everything is eternal. Meaning, in that world, there is no beginning and there is no end. Everything in that world is without any beginning and without any end. Everything from that world is full of consciousness. So much, so conscious that when we assume a new body, material body, this body becomes conscious. From that we can see what a source of consciousness the soul is, or how conscious the soul is. Soul transforms matter into being conscious. And the soul is full of joy. Now that is our real identity. And that's why through this body, we are trying to get this identity. We are trying to make this body immortal. We are trying to make this body conscious. We are trying to make this body joyful. Never happens. No matter how hard we try, this body will never become immortal. No matter how hard we try, this body will not be fully conscious. We notice that during the daytime we are conscious, at night we become unconscious. And we are trying to experience joy through this body which never happens. We keep on endeavoring to enjoy through this body but we never satisfy. But in reality we are immortal, eternal. We are full of consciousness and we are full of joy. But that will be available, those characteristics will be available only when we become connected to the Supreme Personality of God. So that is the real goal, and we all have that responsibility to lead others, guide others. Those who don't have information about that goal, we have to take up the responsibility to guide them. And those who do that, they become the real leaders of the society. So, at this point, I will invite some questions. If you are happy, please feel free to ask. Or if you want, you can write down also. Yes, please.
Krishna in love and Krishna the one
Yes. Right. You see, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, from time to time, he comes to this material. He is residing in the spiritual world. But from time to time, he comes down to the material. And that is called avatar. Avataran means to descend. From a higher region, he comes here, therefore. So he comes from time to time. He comes from time to time. And Krishna himself has mentioned, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhutthana dharmasya. When there is a decline of religious principles and increase of irreligiosity, then in order to dharma samsthapana, in order to establish the principle of religion, I come. Sambhavami. Also, another time, just little before that, Krishna is saying, in the same chapter, Ajopi san abhayatma, bhutanam ishwaropi san, prakriting sam adhisthaya, sambhavami atma. Krishna is saying, Ajo opi, although I am unborn, abhayatma, inexhaustible, bhutanam ishwaropi san, I am the supreme controller of everything. Bhutanam ishwaropi san. I don't need to come. But prakriting sham adhisthaya, taking advantage of my internal potency, which is called yoga maya, sambhavami, I manifest myself. We are born, but Krishna manifests. We are born, But he is Ajar, he is unknown. So he is the same personality, and I would have them say that this is the land of Lord Jagannath. So Jagannath and Krishna is also the same. Jagannath is Krishna himself. We can see that Jagannath is with Baladev. Who is Baladev? Krishna's brother. And who is Subhadra? Krishna's sister. So who must be that person there? Obviously, Krishna himself. Although he looks different. So that's another thing. Why he is looking different. This is the appeal. Jagannath is the Lord in his ecstatic mood. In his ecstasy, his form actually becomes like that. In his utmost joy of seeing his devotees, he has dreams, whom he met after 100 years of separation. Krishna met Radharani in Kurukshetra after 100 years of separation, and seeing her, Krishna and dreamed. Yeah, please use the mic.
Hare Krishna. Nanaji, in this Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And that is Mahamantra tells about the name of not only that it indicates something else. There is inherent meaning.
Yeah. These are obviously the names of the Lord. We can see Hare in vocative, in Sanskrit. The declination has different, there's 7 declination and then vocative, addressing. Like Hari in address becomes Hari. Hara in address becomes Hari. So, either way, the Lord is Hari because he steals away our suffering condition. So, that is the identity of the Lord. So, we are addressing Hari or Hara. Hara is Srimati Radha. In address, Hara. So, Hari. Krishna. Now, Krishna in vocative also is Krishna. And Rama. Rama can also indicate Lord Ramchandra. Or it can indicate Ramate iti Rama. Radha, Raman. So, so this is how it is all indicating the names of the Lord. But this presenting these names of the Lord is forming a prayer. That prayer is, O all attractive. Krishna means all attractive. O all attractive Supreme Lord. Please deliver me from this suffering condition that I am in. And allow me to be engaged in your loving devotional service. So that is the prayer that Hare Krishna Mahamantra stands for. Thank you. Yeah.
Swamiji, lot of people has the opinion, if you want success and prosperity in this life, serve other gods. And if you want peace and prosperity in next life, serve Krishna. So what is your opinion? Because everybody does not know what is next life. They are worried about this life only. So please give some light on this.
Yeah, I don't know where this point is coming from, or where it's coming from. Anyway, I was just But the thing is, the advantage of serving Krishna is you enjoy this life, and you enjoy your life next life, and life after life. And it is true, like if you serve other gods, meaning if you serve devtas, Like say for example, Ganesh gives success. Siddhidata, Ganesh I know. Like, like Indra gives rain, Pavan gives, appropriate wind and so forth. They are giving material prosperity. Their jurisdiction is only the material world. Whereas, when you serve Krishna, then you enjoy the material nature. Why? Because all these demigods, all these devtas are subservient to Krishna. Like for example, if you know the chairman, all the employees in the company will look at you favorably. Right? But the advantage that the chairman can give, the other employees cannot give. That's the difference. And that's why I say, if you serve Krishna, you will enjoy in this life, and you will be enjoying in life. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, there is a question there.
Hare Krishna.
Maybe you can come forward so that I can see it. Okay, they light up the things, like switch on. That's alright, you keep standing.
Hare Krishna. According to the Buddha or Buddhism, as Buddha ji said, that soul vanishes, the soul dies. As I heard that. But according to the Krishna consciousness, is that soul never dies. And you have just said that statement. And Buddha is also a avatar of Krishna or Vishnu. So which statement is true?
Yeah. So as I pointed out, death is of matter. End is of matter. Matter has a beginning, right? Matter has an end. But is the soul matter or spirit? Spiritual. So spiritual things don't have any beginning or any end. As Krishna is saying about the identity of the soul, na jayate mriyate va kadachin. Jayate means born, mriyate means dead. The soul is never born, the soul never dies. So that is the statement. And you see, I'm not an expert in Buddhism, so I can't really comment on that. I don't know, but I doubt it whether Buddha said that. He is talking about emancipation, nirvana, that to achieve the ultimate end of the soul. Thank you very much.
I want to ask two questions.
Yeah.
First one is that in the Mahabharata, it is mentioned that Lord Parsuram was also there and Lord Krishna was also there. So how God can exist in two forms in one time?
Okay, very good. Very good. You see, what to speak of Parsuram and Krishna, two identities. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, as the Super Soul, is present in everyone's heart. So you can consider how many expansions he can manifest, right? So there is no, you see, all these different incarnations of avatar, they are all eternally existing. And that is his inconceivable potency. Inconceivable potency means that we cannot comprehend, we cannot understand how is it possible. But that's why he is the Supreme Lord, Supreme Personality of God. He can do things that we cannot. We cannot. And that's why he is God and we are what we are. Right? What's your second question?
Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu are different or the same?
Very good question. Lord Shiva is an expansion of Krishna or Vishnu. You see, the Lord does, this material nature is his inferior energy. Right? The Lord Krishna has two different energies, two different natures. One is superior nature, which is the spiritual world, and the other is the inferior nature, which is this material nature. This is called para-prakriti and apara-prakriti, inferior nature, separated energy. Now, because it is a separated energy of the Lord, therefore he doesn't directly deal with it. If he deals with it directly, then this will become his internal energy, right? Not separated, right? So, in order to deal with this material nature, he transforms himself into Lord Shiva. Now, go further into that, understand. This material nature is, do you know who is personified material nature? Durga. Right? Durga is Mahamaya or this material nature. Now, who is the husband of Durga? Lord Shiva. Get it? So, in order to deal with this material nature, Krishna transforms himself. Now, is there any difference? In a way, yes and no. Yes and no. Like yes, because it's the same person. But no, because they are different. And now this has been very beautifully explained in Brahma Samhita. Brahma Samhita is making that point that Shiram Jatha Dadhi Vikara Vishesha Yoga Sanjayate Nahi Tata Prithagasti Hetu Ya Sambhutamapi Tatha Samupaiti Karja. Sambhutamapi, Sambhu is another name of Lord Shiva. So the point is, just as Shira means milk, becomes your dahi. Right? Milk becomes dahi. Similarly, in order to accomplish some specific mission, Govinda, Krishna, has transformed himself into something. Right? So now, milk and yogurt, is it same? Yes. Is there difference? Yes.
Guruji Pranam. As we all know, God is within us and God is everywhere. But why is it believed that to attain salvation, we have to sacrifice certain things? We have to give up certain things. Is it really necessary to give up all our habits? Like, is it really necessary to wake up early in the morning? Or is it really necessary to give up what all things we like to do? And what is the fact actually? Because some people, they want to attain salvation, but because certain difficult practices we have to do, people do not opt for that. So what is actually the thing? Can you just give us some?
Good.
Thank you.
You see, as you mentioned, the Lord is there in all of us. But how is He there in us or with us? As a super soul, Paramatma. Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hriddeshe Arjuna Ishvara. So He is situated in everyone's heart. But we are not aware of Him. Now, is it necessary to develop our relationship with Him? Now, if you want to develop your relationship with Him, then you have to make some effort. Maybe you have to get up a little early in the morning and so forth. But the thing is ultimately, I will say that if you don't want to get up early in the morning, it doesn't matter. Right? What really involves or what really is important about developing the relationship with Him is love. So what do you have to develop is a love for Him. When we develop a love for Him, then our relationship will be established, and through that, establishing that relationship, we will become aware of our spiritual identity. Right? Now you consider, say, Arjun has a relationship with Krishna. Now, don't we immediately see how much love Arjun has for Krishna? Kunti Devi has, how much love Kunti has, how much love Draupadi has. Now, it is that love that really matters. Not, as you're saying, negation of different things. That is not the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal actually is peace.
My question is it really difficult? The path of salvation is difficult, or is there any easy way to get salvation?
Okay, I'll put it in a simple way.
Yeah.
If the achievement of salvation is through love, is it difficult to love somebody? It's as simple as that. Right? You can achieve your salvation or ultimate perfection of your existence simply by developing a love.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna Guruji. So, what is the relation between karma and moksha?
Good. Karma literally means action. But when you say karma in this way, it actually means not only action, but subsequent reaction. As you act, accordingly you get the result. As you sow, so shall you reap. Right? So, you see, when we act in this world, it generates reactions. And we become entangled with that. And that's why we have to stay here. We have been acting and we are liable to reaction, so we have to be here. Now, moksha means freedom from this bondage of this material. Right? Now, is it clear, like the difference between what is karma and what is moksha? Moksha means liberation. Liberation means freedom from this bondage. And the bondage that is caused by our karmic reactions. Right? Now the question is, how do we get the moksha? When we act, but the actions doesn't generate reaction. Okay. Actually, without acting, nobody can stay. Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita, Nahi kashchit ksanamopi jatu tishtati aparma. One can, without action, one cannot be there even for a second, even for a moment. We cannot, without acting, we can't exist even for a moment. That means we have to act all the time. We may say, okay, I'm sleeping, I'm not acting. Okay, I may not be acting in such a gross way, but my heart is pumping blood, my stomach is digesting food. So all this is going on even though I am asleep. Right? So, nahi kashchit kshanam api, for a moment, or kashchit kshanam api, a moment, jatu tishtati. One cannot exist tishtati without action. So we cannot stay without action, and every action creates reaction. So, how can I become free from this bondage of action-reaction? Yes, the answer is, when you say, for example, a soldier goes to fight a battle and he kills many enemies. When he comes back, the king rewards him. And the same person kills one person and the same king punishes him. Right? He killed so many people, the king rewarded him, and now he killed one person and the king is punishing him. Why? Because when he was acting on behalf of the king, it was not his action, it was on behalf of the king. So that didn't have the reaction. But when he acted on his own, then he became liable. So the point is, when one acts for the sake of Krishna, then he becomes free from it. Okay.